Friggin' what up, dude? Strider Wilson, and I'm the host of this podcast that's mine, going to be called History is Nice. History is Day with Strider Wilson. From the
Friggin' what up, dude? I'm extra fired up right now for multiple reasons. Number one, my dog JT sent me some 35-pound dumbbells in the mail, dude. They showed up, dude. Honestly, I feel bad for the dude that delivered them. I live on the 3rd floor of my building now. Dude must have got freaking shredded carrying those bells up there, dude. Now I'm just tossing those around. I'm feeling powerful, dude. Feeling very powerful. It's helping out my golf game. I'm getting more distance, dude. It's nice. I'm just walking around, just freaking arms bowed out, dude. Talk to my GF like, we need to move again. We need another bedroom, dude. Don't have enough room in this apartment for my delts right now, dude. But truth be told, I am struggling a little bit to use them. I am having to gradually build them in. It's pretty tough, don't want to strain the back. Don't want to, do anything too wild. Don't want to get a hernia, dude. Definitely don't want to do that because, don't want to slow down, dude. Got to get out there on the course. You know what I mean, dude? Got to get there on the links and cut deals. I'm fully becoming, I remember like when I first moved to LA with JT, I was like, dude, if I ever have a 6-pack in the fridge of brews, dude, let me know, dude, because I'll never have that. Like after a tough day at work, like I want a Gatorade, dude. But now it's like, no, I love having my dippas and I love getting out on the links, dude. I'm just becoming a classic, just a vintage dude, just what all white dudes become. I basically just love the golf course and dippas, dude. And maybe that's all dudes. And if it is, hell yeah, I'm stoked because we all got that in common. And I'm extra stoked because right now, if you're watching the YouTube video, you will notice that I'm using this arm, dude. Aaron, I got some dumbbells in the mail, and Aaron, you got like this dank podcasting arm in the mail. Are you stoked on this or what?
I mean, we'll see. I hope so.
I mean, it's pretty sick, dude. I'm standing up right now. In case you can't feel, I don't know if you can hear the energy coming through the frame right now. If you're just on your commute to work or wherever you're listening, dude, just freaking posting up, dude. I'm going to bed listening to this so you can relax, dude. I like to get fired up and then relax when I get fired up, dude. What relaxes me is knowing that the next day I'm going to wake up and get stuff done, dude. You know what I mean? Just wake up first thing in the morning. What am I going to do, dude? Going to take an Austin Powers style leak. Hopefully not wake my GF up, so I'll sit down to do so. And then I'm going to make that coffee French press style. And then I'm going to go park whips and score fat tips, dude. You feel that energy, dude? Coming through. Right now I'm in a 3/4. I'm in an athletic stance, dude. Hips a little bit back, dude. Balanced frame right here. Just slapping my shoulder, even though I want to be slapping the thighs. Aaron, how many podcasts have you ever been on the sticks for where the host is just in a nice athletic stance while podcasting?
Not enough.
Yeah, agreed.
That's for sure.
Agreed. I mean, right now I can move anywhere. There's no guests here. Basically, this is the golf of podcasting. Like right now I do want to play D. I want to play some one-on-one, defense right here. But it's more just me against the course, me against the elements, dude. Me against the mic, the pod here. Triple threat stance right here. Shoot, pass, dribble. But I guess the triple threat of podcasting would just be like, I don't know, witty retort, salient piece of information with possible humorous twist, and then pseudo self-deprecating story. That's the triple threat of the pod. Which way am I going? Whoa, coming with a pun. Oh, interesting. Well, that reminds me of a time where I did something a little bit embarrassing, but I'm going to make a great point at the end of it. Something like that. Anyway, fired up, dude. Fired up on just getting stuff delivered in the mail, dude. Dumbbells, pod arms. This thing's sick. You can probably, let's see, adjusting here. Maybe a little WD-40 on there. I'm just breaking it in. This is the first time breaking it in, and I'm honored to do so. Let's let it live like right here. So yeah, dude, I'm fired up on that. And I'm fired up on today's historical share. It's going to be fantastic. It is about a dude named Robert Smalls. And if you know who Robert Smalls is, you're probably already fired up. Okay? Aaron, have you ever heard of Robert Smalls?
It sounds familiar.
There's a book on him, and because what he did is friggin' incredible, and it should be a movie. I mean, I would say like it's amazing what he did. He didn't do like what Harriet Tubman did at that scale, where she escaped slavery and then went back and put herself in danger to get more people free, and it was just like a total badass. And by the way, I started watching that movie. I haven't finished it yet, but it's like, have you seen it, Aaron?
Yeah, I just saw it on HBO Max. Did you get to the shot where she stops to pee?
Yes, I did.
Not necessary.
No,
kind of assumed.
It's like, I'm like, are they going for grittiness there? But nothing else is that gritty.
No.
And if I'm gonna say, like, this is a story that's an incredible story, and in my opinion, I'm gonna come down with a harsh review. They kind of messed this up. Like they didn't put the budget in. Like the like color scheme of the movie like seems a little bit cheap. I'm like, dude, let's go. Let's pump some more dough into this and get it done right. That being said, the actress, I forget her name, she's incredible. She does a great job.
Claudia Erivo,
and she's amazing in The Outsider, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, she crushes in that. Like, and she's great in this. Like, she brings it. They rely, and this is a little bit of a spoiler alert, but if you know about Harriet Tubman, like, she did have visions, and she was, religious and everything, and, claimed they came from God and everything, and, helped her do what she did. But, like, the way they execute it in the movie, it's just, like, it kind of takes you out of it a little bit. Do you think I'm alone in saying that, Aaron?
No, I think you're right.
It's like they could have just handled it. I'm trying to think of another movie where the character has visions or something. There's got to be an example or something like that. Or or tons of characters have like flashbacks,
Mm-hmm.
I think they do like a flashback immediately out of the gate that like takes you out of like the intense moment that you're supposed to be in, and you're like, what?
Yeah, I definitely, now in hindsight, I agree with you for sure. It could have been shot in a moodier way.
Yeah.
And more stylized.
Yeah, I would have liked...
The trailer made it look like it was an action movie for
I mean, dude, if you could have gotten like that dude like Nicholas Enratu or whatever his name is who did The Revenant to shoot this movie, and then they're like the whole, like if I was going to be, there's so much things to choose from when like writing this script and like in, moments that are incredible. But it's like, just do that initial escape and just be on the go the whole time, and then, which I think they kind of tried to do, but I don't know. Anyway, all of my point is Robert Smalls needs a movie. And when they do it, which they should, because there's already a book out so it can be adapted, and the story's a real life story that's incredible, and it's like, let's go, dude. Like this thing would be incredible. What this guy did was unreal. And so let me start out by taking you to a little frickin' place. Oh, by the way, I didn't hear of Robert Smalls, and you knew who told me about this and sent in a suggestion for this was Matt Cate. Dude, this guy's basically curating the podcast at this time. Dude, the guy I won't say what company he works for, maybe doesn't want me to, but he's in business development, and I'm like, dude, this dude's in podcast development now. The guy, what he's putting down, I'm picking up, baby. So let's go. I'm trying to think of what episode. He told me about Dan Sickles. So he told me about a dude who was kind of I think he told me about Dan Sickles, a dude who told me about a scoundrel, and now I'm hearing about a freaking straight up legend in Robert Smalls. So I'm fired up, dude. So this is a true story. Here we go. Robert Smalls, dude, he's born into slavery on April 5th, 1839 in a cabin in Beaufort, South Carolina. And now here we go. I'm going to give you a little like Tarantino, Ozymandias story structure here. South Carolina, the state in which he is later elected into the U.S. House of Representatives. So this dude's a beast. And if you Wikipedia him, it's going to say businessman, politician. There's a lot more than meets the eye, okay? A lot more than meets the eye. So to that frickin' it should just say frickin' straight up legend, dude. Massive risk taker and straight up executor upon that, dude. So we're going to go out to a little ship called the USS Planter, formerly known as the CSS Planter. You might know where this is going, okay? For those of you who like ship titles, you might be like, oh, I know what's about to go down. For those of you who don't, well, frickin' buckle up, dude. Or should I say, put on your life jacket, because you're about to step onto a frickin' uneasy waters here, dude. Even though most of what takes place is in a bay. But I'll tell you right now, it's not the waters that they got to be afraid of, dude. It's those who patrol those waters. So let's go to the frickin' evening of, let me get the exact day here. I got it in my notes, dude. Okay. Of May 12th. All right, dude, 1862, bro. We're in the Civil War time, dude. It's raging right now, dude, right? And basically what you need to know about the coastal ports in the Civil War is as soon as the Confederates open fire on Fort Sumter, there's a reaction. Then there's the little Round Top battle where like people were picnicking out there. They thought it was going to be short-lived. But also what Lincoln did is he knew that the Southern economy relied heavily on cotton export and everything, and they didn't have the industry that the North had. So Lincoln orders a blockade on the Southern harbors. And so there's a lot of smuggling going on, some piracy, which fires me up to get things in and out illegally of these blockades. So there's Union ships blocking all these ports, and then the Confederates in their harbors have their own, basically like forts overlooking it with tons of cannons, and then their own little checkpoints that they have of ships. So it's pretty tough to move around these waters, right? And so you need to declare what ship you are. There's like codes and everything to get through certain points that we'll get into in a little bit. So basically, it ain't easy sailing, or should I say steaming, since the planter was a steamboat. So on the evening of May 12th, 1862, dude, planters just posting up down there in Charleston, dude, and just on the post of in the freaking Stono River, dude, just feeds into that freaking harbor, dude. And so they're just chilling down there, and the planter's docked, and it's doing its usual routine, dude. And it's a wharf below this Confederate General Ripley's headquarters, dude. And Ripley, you'll note that he recently put out an order to all Confederate boats saying that the officers need to sleep. Whether if you're docked in the harbor, the war's picking up at this point. He's saying, I don't want you coming in on land and staying in a hotel or at a friend's house or whatever, or crashing at your boys, dude, or maybe even visiting a brothel. It's popular at this time. Or I guess it's probably still popular nowadays, but it's just more clandestine. But at that time, it was a little more out in the open. Anywho, orders are officers sleep on the boat so they're ready to go no matter what. If cannon shots start getting fired, he wants to be able to tell people, all right, dude, look, you get your boat here, get in position, or everyone get out of here. We're getting blasted on. So you got to be on the ready. These officers, these white Confederate officers, disembark and they spend the night ashore, which they are not supposed to do. However, Smalls has been working on the planter for a while now. He's like, he's not the captain. He's a slave at this time. They're not going to let a slave be a captain, but he's got all the skills to do it. He's been on this boat. He knows the ins and outs of it. He knows the officers well. He knows the crew and everything. So, if he had to, he could captain this boat. You know what I'm saying? And he knows that these Confederate officers, they like to go in and maybe, have a little brandy, and they're going to spend the night off the boat. And in fact, Smalls, he's a good dude, well-liked. And he asked, like, hey, is it cool if, we bring our families on board while you guys are off there and they can visit for a while? And the officers are like, well, you know what, we're going to go on the shores and probably chill. So yeah, you can have your family come visit, but they need to be off the boat by this certain time. And then, the subordinate officers, there was a subordinate officer still on there who would make sure that happened. So everything seems chill is what I'm saying. Everything is going according to plan, if you will. And at some point, the freaking families are escorted back off the planter. They're chilling, and then at around 3 a.m. So once this is why they wanted to ask to have their families brought on board that night, not just to straight up visit and enjoy each other's company, but because that's the first time that Robert Smalls unveils his plan to everyone there, and he's like, "Look, guys, tonight it's our only freaking time. It's our only opportunity. I've been thinking about for a while. I know these waters. I know how they're patrolled. I think we can make a run for it and get out of this port and be free. At least as free as we can imagine, And everyone's scared. They're like, no way, what are we going to do? And he tells everyone straight up, he's like, look, for me and the crew members who are helping us, if we get caught, in which there was like 7 other enslaved crew members that were helping Robert Smalls. And he's like, if we get caught, guaranteed we're going to get killed. The women and children, you guys will be punished, and most likely sold apart. So terrible, terrible real, very insane consequences. However, you know, you gotta risk it. You want to live a life that's free. There've been, obviously, I don't need to explain to you that being a slave is terrible and they want to get out. And obviously the proof is in the pudding. Look what they're about to risk in order to do so. So everyone's scared. And Robert Smalls he's scared, but he's, you know, he knows what he has to do to get this done. And he's got a plan. And he's like, look, we're going to visit for a while. You all know the plan. Everyone's going to disembark the ship come evening time, like we said we would do. And then when you do disembark, you're going to go over to this other boat and you're going to wait there. And it's going to be like a few like nautical miles downshore. So as soon as you get off, you guys just got to start heading over that way and be ready to go, because I'm going to cruise out and you're going to see a boat come around and it's going to be this boat and you got to all be at the ready. So, but you all need to act chill. So his family leaves with some other families that are helping him and a few other, other, like, I don't want to say random, but some unknown slaves that are with the family traveling with them that we're visiting. And they're like, you know, go, wait, be at the ready. So then around freaking, I wrote this down because I want to tell it in a very, very dank way. Oh, by the way, the book that I was mentioning earlier is called Be Free or Die, the amazing story of Robert Small's escape from slavery. And there's a other portion of that, which I don't want to tell quite yet because I want to get into it. So basically, he freaking cruises at around 3 a.m. that night, going through the harbors. So now we're in, May 13th, 3 a.m., 13, unlucky number. This is scary, very auspicious. So what Smalls does is he puts on the captain's uniform, puts it on, and the captain always wore a big straw hat, which worked to his favor. And it also worked because this was somewhat of like a very murky, foggy evening. So he had a few things on his side, if you will, while taking this huge risk.
Sorry to interrupt, but
yeah.
At the point where he put the uniform on, did he say, "I am the captain now"? Sorry. I can't.
Aaron, absolute fire. Okay. Absolute fire. I'm 100% freaking sure that he did. And there are actually some quotes from Smalls, and he's a freaking legend, dude. He's got a great freaking quote that I'm going to drop in a little bit. And I do imagine he would say, "I am the captain now." And you know how he would do it? He would do it exactly how the freaking captain of the CSS freaking Planter did it, because what Smalls did, like I mentioned, he'd worked on that boat for a while. He knew that crew. He knew their tendencies. He knew how they acted. He knew the hat that the captain wore, where he kept it, everything. He memorized the codes. The Confederates have whistle codes and cadences for different checkpoints, and he has to get through about 5 checkpoints to get to safety. And like after the third, then he's going to pick up his family and everything, and then make it past, the Confederates blockade, and then hopefully out to the Union waters. So what Smalls does is he dons the captain's freaking straw hat that, covers up his face, because obviously the captain's a white Confederate dude and Smalls is a black slave. So that's not going to work in broad daylight. But at 3 a.m. with the straw hat, and then even on top of that, Smalls memorizes his mannerisms. Like the captain was like apparently a quirky dude, and would he'd always be like, it's pretty hilarious, but he would literally just say, "Aye," like a total broad captain character that you would imagine. But he did that, and Smalls memorized exactly how he did it. And so when he's going past one of the most, it's like number 3 port, like the number 3 port or something like that. He freaking they throw out, he does the whistle code perfectly. And then the guy there yells out, "Hey, kill one of those Union ships. If you don't bring any Union cargo back with you, at least kill and sink all of it," or something like that. And then, Smalls, instead of just throwing out like a witty return that he probably for sure would have had in his back pocket, podcast style, he was just like, "Aye, aye, aye." And then no one blinks an eye. He just cruises, nails the mannerisms, nails the whistle, gets everyone out. Meanwhile, everyone on board, and he's got to go real slow even though he wants to rush out there, but he's got to make it look all freaking natural. Okay. And so then they get past that checkpoint, and now instead of going straight out, he's got to go back through like another checkpoint to pick up his family and some relatives of the crew members that are helping him out. And by the way, I wrote down their names. It's like, so in addition to Robert Smalls, the crew included like 6 other enslaved black men, and they ranged in age from their teens to middle ages. Robert Smalls was like, I said he was born in 39. This is in 62. So he's a young man at this point. And there was a guy named John Small, no relation. It's Robert Smalls, John Small. Then there's Alfred Gordine. And then there's David Jones, Jack Gibbs, and Gabriel Turner, and Abraham Jackson. So these are the enslaved crew members helping Robert Smalls and helping themselves to freedom. So they freaking cruise back. They pick up their families. They get out. They keep it small. And I'm thinking, like, dude, you could like really build up the drama in this if it's a movie. Like, this is pretty gnarly, dude. You know what I mean? Like, you have a character who notices something, then you can cut to the scenes when the family has to get to aboard the boat where they've got to be waiting and ready, dude, and everyone's inspecting the waters, and it's just, you know, there's a dude that they've got basically captured now on the boat with them, who is going to come into play in a little bit. I'll tell you about that in a second. So anyway, they freaking go back, they pick up their families, they're all on board, and they're cruising out, and basically they have to go through like this whole journey is about 10 miles apart from where they're leaving to get out to the Union blockade, past the Confederate blockade to the Union blockade, right? And like this isn't a steamship, so they can't be sneaky about it. They just need to be like, oh yeah, I'm the captain. I've got orders from this to go and do it. And if you know the codes, luckily no one's batting eyes. Smalls knows the codes. He knows that this is okay, and freaking just straight up freaking gets it done, dude. So, oh, by the way, the quote, I wrote it down earlier. The sentry yells out, blow the damn Yankees to hell or bring one of them in. That's what he says. And then Smalls, aye, aye, in the exact tone, in cadence. So Smalls freaking, I've got a great quote from his wife here earlier from when he was explaining it, that what they had to do. His wife, Hannah, says, she says, it's a risk, dear, but you and I and our little ones must be free. I will go for where you die. I will die. Fire, dude. It's just love. I mean, come on. That's like the best thing I've ever heard. And so basically, Smalls executes his plan, does all the mannerisms, dude, has to do like the whistle code 5 times, has to go back, pick up his family, pick up his buddies' families and friends. And all in all, there's about 15 other slaves plus the 7 crew members on there. And it's 5 women, 3 children, dude. And then Smalls freaking cruises out there, and the dude that I mentioned that he had on there, who was like overseeing them, is Flag Officer Samuel Francis Dupont, who's actually, oh no, sorry. What am I talking about? That's one of the Union generals who's looking over the blockade that Smalls brings some stuff to. The Confederate dude is just this other schmoll dude who actually had like valuable map intelligence when frickin' Smalls brings the ship out of the harbor and presents it to the Union officer. So basically, dude, he's cruising out of the Confederate blockade, and he's like, yes, dude, we're freaking safe. I'm freaking fired up right now. Everyone's feeling good. But then they get closer to the Union, and by this time, I mentioned they left at like 3 a.m. This journey took a couple hours, so it's daylight now. It's early daylight, and it's a little bit hazy, and you know, they made it past the Confederates. They're feeling good, but they're approaching the Union, and it's a Confederate ship that's approaching this Union blockade, and they're like, what are these maniacs doing? And even like the Union's soldiers are like, they know something's a little off, because no one in their right mind, if you know, no Confederate captain would captain his ship straight towards the blockade, you'd be destroyed instantly. But you know, they're still wartime, so they're starting to raise their cannons up, and they're going, all right, well, these guys are coming into range. Are we going to blast here? What's going on? And then literally they're raising up their cannons. They're looking at them, and they've got it documented where they're like, oh, do we let fly? And then they look up and they see like a white flag flying instead of the Confederate flag. They're like, hold fire, let it get close. And then it comes nice and close. Frickin' the planter just cruises up alongside one of the Union ships, and Smalls just goes, "Good morning, sir. I brought you some of the old United States guns, sir." And so he's just knows. Smart move by him right there. Not going like, "Oh, we're escaped and, please help us." Like, no, he knows, look, we are now value added to you. We've brought you guns that are Confederate guns, but really they were taking Union weapons. And he knows that, and he goes, "We brought your weapons back." And this freaking captain goes, "Oh, this is legit, dude. What do we got here going on right here?" So freaking fired up, dude. And this goes to like the U.S. House of Representatives, dude. And like, so shortly after, dude, like gets there quickly, dude. On the 30th of May, 1862, the House of Representatives passes a private bill awarding Robert Smalls and his African-American crew members 1/2 of the value of the planter and her cargo as prize money. Now, they still got jobbed a little bit here because the government valuation of the ship was like $9,000, and this is in 1862 dollars. And but really, like at wartime, things were inflated, and plus, like they brought 3 cannons. They brought invaluable, like I mentioned earlier. The prisoner had mapping positions, and even Robert Smalls himself told DuPont, this commander, like, "Hey, there's a fort down there that the Confederates are backing out of. You guys can probably sail down there and like go get it." And the Union Army did eventually go do that and held that throughout the entire war. And it was like a nice pivotal position to continue their blockade of like Confederate supplies not being able to come in and like hurt the Southern economy. So Smalls is just a freaking straight up legend, not only for getting his freedom and helping those other get theirs, but also as a part of the war effort. So he gets awarded a half of $9,000, but the real value was around like $67,000. And then the captain, who was Smalls at the time, received like $1,500, which is freaking sick, dude. And if you convert that today, it was about like $38,000, dude, is what he got out of that. So he just went from being an ex-slave to being a freaking, he just made more money than I did at Valet last year. So, and well freaking earned and deserved. Obviously, the dude's a freaking straight up beast. So you're saying to yourself right now, that's sick. I mean, that story alone right there, Aaron, warrants you're in legendary status in basically anyone's book anywhere.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right? Guy's a beast. Guy memorized plans, memorized cadences, memorized mannerisms. Dude, he had to literally act while he was out there, keep his cool the whole time, like just while, basically having to burden like this whole event. And, we can't sell the other 6 crew members short. They were all doing their part, keeping the dude prisoner, acting cool. Everything was copacetic and cruising. So it was freaking gnarly, dude.
If it helps to get this movie made, may I suggest that instead of putting on the captain's clothes, he works him like Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's a great call.
Like he dresses all in black, like a puppeteer at the Muppets.
I would love that artistic licensing. I think that would be a fire addition to this story. Absolutely no question. And just and then he just does the voice behind him and like he waves like this. Yeah, there's no question. That's a fire call. There's no question about that. So then, dude, you're like, and I gave you a little spoiler earlier, Smalls becomes a freaking congressman, dude. He goes from ex-slave, from being born into slavery to a congressman. And then you know what he does with that money that he got? He goes down and buys his former master's house in South Carolina and makes it his own house. And his former master tried to sue him and get it back. And he actually like won that case and like was a bellwether case for other people that ex-slaves and just, people from the North coming down south and buying up, obviously they're going to go buy up the cheaper properties and everything post-war. And, everyone's going to, to the victors go the spoils. And but Robert Smalls' case was like a bellwether case for having the rights to keep it because the other dudes were traitors, and it's not going to hold up well in court, dude. So, but basically what Smalls does after this is he also becomes the first captain. He becomes the first black captain in the Union Army, because he was assigned to the Union Army to be on the planter afterwards. They're like, dude, you did a great job. You're amazing. You know this boat. We're going to give you a Union crew, and now you guys are going to be... The planter was a supply ship. You're going to run supplies for us now. And so he's doing that, and then they're running supplies, and then they come under crossfire in like December of 1863. And then the captain, this dude, Captain Nickerson, orders Smalls to surrender. But Smalls goes, you know what? Nah, dude, I can't surrender. You want to know why? Because being an ex-slave now, if I get caught by Confederates, I'm not going to get a soldier. I'm not going to go to a prison camp for soldiers, which, by the way, were horrendous in the Civil War anyway, but at least maybe you had a shot at living. Smalls knew, if I get caught, they're probably just going to kill me. They're not going to treat me and give me the proper soldier's treatment. So knowing that, being a man with his back against the wall, he goes, hell no, I'm not surrendering this. Navigates his way through under fire from Confederate ships in like a steamboat, goes through, makes it out past them, and gets the planter to freedom once again. So this guy has now twice navigated treacherous waters at risk of death. And once he does that, I believe DuPont, who I mentioned earlier, was like, he was more of like the, not an admiral, but like, what did I say? Like a flag commander or some other naval position. He's like, you know what? Robert Smalls is a straight up legend, and we're going to make him the captain of this ship. So he not only does he go to being a frickin' congressman, just in smaller terms, no pun intended, he frickin' goes from being a slave on that ship to now he is the captain of that ship. And the only mannerisms he's got to copy at this point are his own, dude. And who knows if he says I anymore, but I would, because it's a freaking sick thing to say if you're on a boat, dude. Also, whenever you're on a boat just partying, like sometimes I'm on a tiki barge, dude, just, getting my freaking buzz on with my dogs, dude. I just like to wave at people on other boats. So it's just natural, dude, just waving at people on other boats, just being fired up, dude. There's also something sexy about just being on a boat, dude. So maybe that's part of why I like piracy, Not a lot of sexiness in this story right here. I mean, I don't know how you insert that if we're going to make this a movie. Maybe you have a nice, I don't know if you want to have a gratuitous love scene between Robert Smalls and his wife. Maybe that's just the pervert in me coming out. I think you got to keep that out of this film. I think we keep it. I'd like to go rated R. I'd like to see some action in this. I'd like to see it, hopefully get some sort of shootout scene, which I think we could get, in this altercation that I have here. I think the whole first act is just this escape from slavery. Then I think the second act is him just being a captain in the Union Army. And then, the third act is sort of like, epilogue style of him, going to Congress. And he also, that house that I mentioned that he bought at 511 Prince Street, he then goes into business ventures, and he invests, he aligns himself with this dude, Richard Howell Gleaves, a businessman from Philadelphia, and they open up a store that serves freedmen. So he knows that, even though there's now free men out there, they're still not treated equally. So he wants to give them an education, and he uses his home to do that. And Smalls, he hires a teacher to help him learn English, and then he's like, if you're going to be free now, we got to be able to make our own way. We can't, because otherwise we're going to just be given service jobs, and it's better that you're getting paid for your job. But Smalls is saying we need to educate ourselves. We need to get out there and make a difference and control our own destiny as best we can. And honestly, he does this, man. He freaking he becomes a part of Congress after learning to read, hiring a teacher, and then making that teacher paying for others' educations, and which I probably need to, because I just said educations in that manner. But anyway, dude, he helps pass like a civil rights act, and overcoming a ton of vetoes from Andrew Johnson, dude. And they passed like the 14th Amendment, which was ratified by the states and extends full citizenship to all Americans. Smalls was part of that. So the dude is, in short, a freaking beast, dude. A freaking beast. And dude, guy's a freaking beast. Taught himself to read in 9 months, dude. Bought himself a home, becomes a freaking congressman, becomes a freaking prominent businessman in Beaufort, dude. So when you cruise up and you look at Robert Smalls, dude, American politician, dude, there's more than meets the eye to that Google search, my dudes. And now you know. Freaking sick, right, Aaron?
Dude, so good.
It's freaking sick. It's freaking sick.
Yeah, it's just another one of those guys. It's like a great story that we just don't hear in school.
No.
That would get you fired up in class.
Exactly.
Oh,
100% fired
this
up.
story, and then go to lunch, recess.
Oh my gosh, dude. Go eat some freaking Dunkaroos after this, dude, and then run around, try not to throw up playing tag. Yeah. I'm 100% fired up. I guess that's why they do book reports, I guess if you're a teacher, you just got to put on, they always do recommended books, and maybe the parents too. Maybe if you're listening, dude, if you're listening to this pod right now, dude, and then you got some little groms, dude, you go home, you make love to your GF or your wife, dude, your GF forever, dude. Then, a few years now, dude, this podcast is out there in the ether. It's going to be there forever now. Go pick up this book, dude. Pick up this book I was telling you about. Be Free or Die, dude. The amazing story of Robert Small's escape from slavery to Union hero. There it is. We just went on that quick journey, dude. Basically did a book report. Haven't even read it yet, dude. Just did a little internet research. And, dude, that's why I love historical movies. I love learning about movies like this, dude. I love learning about how freaking jacked Achilles was in Troy, dude, and freaking baller, dude, and disrespected Apollo, dude. And, Paris was a freaking just a total schmoll, dude, And it's not Helen of Troy's fault that she just wanted to, enjoy herself, dude. Her husband, freaking Agamemnon, was just not a chiller, dude. So, although Agamemnon's brother, Brendan Gleeson, dude, I forget his character's name, dude, from Sparta. Anyway, dude, you make dank movies like this, you get a substitute teacher. Aaron, imagine you're in school, your substitute teacher comes in, he's like, dude, I'm going to put on the Robert Smalls movie. You're like, let's go. I'm fired up right now.
Hell yeah.
So stoked. All right, let's do a few questions and bounce. Let's see here, dude. Dear Strider Chilson, I'm totally stoked to be writing into this dank pod today. The ep about beer pong was especially dank since I'm a bro from Dartmouth where they invented the paddle version of the game. Personally, I think regular BP is much danker than the paddle version, but it's actually frowned upon campus. I get it, dude. It's Ivy League, dude. There's some elitism going on there, dude. Maybe regular Pong's a blue-collar version of Pong. I don't know. I'm not trying to play with the paddle. I'm trying to play regular paddle with Pong, Anyway, this dank cast got me thinking about different historical bros from the past. I started wondering what it was like to freaking pioneer the sports of surfing, snowboarding in the mid-20th century. In surfing, there was dank bros and chicks in Hawaii and California. On their wooden shred sticks and snowboarding, they were raging in the mountains and created dank new sports to cruise super fast down the snow. My cue is, what was it like for these bros to be shredding back in the 1950s and even earlier? I know they couldn't really do any fat roundhouses or ride their barrel yet, but what was it like in general for them? Also, would you rather have been in the mountains cruising down some of the first slopes or be a dank chiller on the beach charging the first waves? Sincerely, Ben. Well, Ben, I would have to do some research on knowing what it was like being those original pioneers of freaking shreddom, dude, of the waves in the mountains. This Duke, there's like the Grand Duke of surfing, like, I forget his last name, in Hawaii, who was like the godfather of surfing. And I know there was like, talked about this, I think, on a pod a while back, where like in Peru, like ancient Peruvians, like 5,000 years ago, the Incas were up in the mountains. I don't know if they were on shred sticks up there, snowboarding, though they could have been, munching on some coca leaves, dude, just enjoying. But, of course, in Polynesia, the Polynesian tribes were definitely surfing, and, they were doing it very, very early on. And it was a spiritual thing, as it is today, just being in touch with nature on your board. That fires me up. I want to go and research that immediately, dude. I'm fired up on that. And then, you're giving me a tough question there. If I want to be a shredder of fresh pow pow, or the frickin' carving up fat frickin' waves and stepping into the barrel, I'm just going to go with both are, I think you can't be wrong, but just for climate reasons and day-to-day dankness, I'm going to go with I want to be one of the original surfers. Just because, you know, it's a surfer, I can get my bronze on, I can chill out there. I know the temperature's going to be good because I'm surfing. I got to go with that. Aaron, what about you?
Dude, that's a tough one. So it's like, what? I have to like, can you reiterate it for me, please?
Yeah. So basically, would you rather be, you know, when they founded snowboarding and been stoked to be like, dude, we're about to freaking charge this mountain in a snowboard for the first time? What? Or there when they were like, dude, look at this freaking wood right here. If we just carve it up a little bit even better right now, it floats. Look at that wave, dude. Let's go freaking step inside that barrel on that wave. So basically be part of the first surf crew or the first snowboard crew. I'm
not going to lie. I'm kind of afraid of the ocean.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What's the biggest fear of your ocean? Just like how vast it is and you can get lost out there, or sharks?
Well, certainly that. Sharks. Sharks is a big one.
Okay.
Any body of water where I can't see my feet, I'm pretty leery about.
Mm-hmm.
So unless it was like super clear water, like Caribbean,
yeah, that's where I like to imagine this is taking place. Maybe you're in Hawaii, dude. You're in Polynesia, dude.
Yeah, you can kind of see through that, but I don't know. I feel like snowboarding maybe just is more controlled for me.
That sounds sick. I mean, you're going to get stoked on that too.
And you'd think there's already a skill established with skiing.
Mm-hmm.
So snowboarding is just an evolution.
Mm-hmm. That's a good call.
Like surfing, there's nothing like that.
No.
So those guys are wild men.
Yeah, especially those guys that charge the big waves, dude, like Laird Hamilton.
I couldn't hang with those dudes.
Nah, I suck. I longboard. I take it easy. It's easy to paddle, dude. Surfing for me is about 30 minutes of paddling out, swallowing salt water, turtle diving, not even duck diving because I'm on a longboard. Then finally making it out there, out of breath, tries on fire, but a good workout. Nipples bleeding because I don't have the proper gear, or the rash guard I'm wearing is old. Then I try to catch a wave, I fall, and I do it all over again. And then I'm done in about 1 hour. Or I go where it's mellow, like Santa, or, if I'm got some mellow rollers in Hawaii where the ocean temperature is warm, I can catch a few waves and be stoked. Always feels good once you're done surfing, dude. Sup, Strider, I was listening to the pod. Super dank BTW, dude. Thank you, dude. And with my younger brother, and he's in Sigma Nu, he wanted to let you know that Beirut is actually their fraternity's drinking game passed down from their older bros at UCSD. Apparently it's not beer pong, but a variation of it. Just wanted to write in and try to clear it up. But not sure if that's true. Something he learns in his frat. Anyways, love the pod, dude, and you're the man, dude. Oh, dude, thank you, dude. Ralph, dude. Okay, so maybe there's a little rule distinction in Beirut. By the way, I went to UCSD, and, I don't know if they're exactly claiming any fire drinking games. Not exactly the best parties, dude. Had to cruise over to my boys over at State for those, dude. Also, down in Mission Beach, dude. Catch me down on Nebraska Street on a Thursday, just friggin' three sheets into the stoke, dude. So, yeah, I don't know about that. Also, I'm fired up on getting a nice little correction and an amendment to the Pong episode, later in the game like this. That's good. That's what I like seeing, dude, So, dude, I'm fired up, man. We'll keep it high and tight, dude. You guys have a freaking dank day. Freaking stay stoked. Do something epic, dude. Do something legendary. Take a little bit of a risk, dude. Let this Robert Smalls story inspire you to any degree of just going out there, dude, and just going for it, dude. Knowing that, you don't have as much to lose as what he did. So if you're thinking of, talking to your boss, asking for a promotion, switching up your career field, maybe, 30, 40, who knows? Never too late. Go for it, dude. You got to be stoked. You get one chance. Make the most of it. Get after it. And then if you have any recommendations, if your name isn't Matt Kant and you want to write in a recommendation, please do it. StriderWilsonShreds@gmail.com. But then also if your name is Matt Kant, you've had some fire recommendations, dude. And honestly, dude, you keep that up, dude. You're going to be in my wedding, dude. Yeah, honestly, dude, I'm really heavily considering it, dude. And, I don't know about my fantasy football league. I got to get that signed off on the bros. But you're looking good right now. You're making a strong case for yourself, dude. Other than that, dude, check out this new dank arm on YouTube right now. I'm fired up, dude. And I'm going to get into a nice athletic stance to say freaking have a stoke-filled day and just freaking get after, dude. All right, lit.